Winning Bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Welcome back to the studio, ladies and gents. Of course, we are here to conclude some more Group A action. And Athletico, they managed to take map 1. It was Nuke. They kind of threw a curveball there in the veto process and sort of found, I think, the one weakness that they can really exploit against MVP Project to get the win. And they almost didn't close it again, actually. There seems to be maybe a storyline developing for Athletico, but now we move on to Overpass. And MVP, we would expect, I think, to have a better chance here.
Yeah, MVP said that they never play Nuke after that map. Toilet talk. We never play Nuke, but the fact that they got so far, I don't think that bodes well for Athletico in the remaining maps. Just being the pick of MVP now, they get to go into their home territory, and then obviously the deciding map is very common territory for all teams in Counter-Strike. So I think the pressure is definitely on Athletico, despite having a one map advantage. That's how I feel about it anyway. MVP still need to get that map back, so obviously they'll have pressure of their own, but I'm sure they will be feeling confident as well. Nice to see some sort of play even in the warm-up. Alright, so there'll be no knife round. Athletico will be starting on the CT side. I do prefer it this way in a best of 3. And it just saves wasted time as well, but it's cool that okay, you pick a map and then your opponent gets to pick which side they start on. I like it. So straight into the pistol. Cast is going to be the smoke and diffuse man for the CT side. Argency, the one smoke grenade, and HSK has been dropped to UMP. So with one smoke, I mean, often the one smoke can be over towards the B site, but there's only a lurker there. I say lurker, it's halfway through the monster tunnel almost. 2-man push from Athletico. Often in the pistol, you see it around birthday party rather than all the way through long, because this is easier to close the range for the T's, I feel. As we're seeing, not working out for them though. The crossfire from the CT's coming in, but the one we've won duel will be won by Sound. That's going to leave his teammate in isolation. Sound jumping around the corner, and HSK will come to finish off that frag.
And there's still a lot of options here for both sides. Of course, Athletico down a man, but they don't necessarily 100% know where the bomb is going to go. Now they know where the bomb is going to go. They've got the bomb. Good kill there from Lias. Obviously, as well, we've been waiting a little bit for Sign to actually push into into the B tunnels, and the bomb will be recollected here by MVP, and they'll make their way back towards B with that one. So unless there's some crazy kills from Urcast to stop the bomb from being planted, should be good here. That is MVP in the bomb plant, and maybe even a frag potentially. But the Tech 9 there. Oh, Sound on 3 HP might want to give somebody else a Tech 9 at this point with 3 HP. The Kevlar is negligible. So I'm kind of stuck on the bomb site itself. But in a pistol round, this could end up working out in his favor as the CTs are forced to go close. He manages to find a great time to go around there. Sign with a second one. And the third to be finished off by Argency. MVP, it was very cool to see this round from them because you could see they had a plan the entire time, and they had to weather a few wrenches that were thrown into the cogs of their plan. However, they still are able to execute it in the end and get the round win on B.
The Tech 9 was not saved in that round, but no matter. 2 Mac 10s for MVP in this round. And looking at the money on the Athletico side, it's a half force buy, if you will. Urcast is left $800 in the bank, Wizard 500, and Infrequent 1500. We all know why he's got money in the bank. Liaz will be on the Scout. Scout no armor for this round. You do wonder if it would be worth him giving the Scout to Infrequent on this occasion. Maybe not. Infrequent going down. I mean, that's a good place to put 2 CTs in connector. Always a very dangerous place to be on an antique, as we see. Argency down to 2 HP on a solo mission, a 1 versus 1. So, yeah, always a good spot, especially early on. Put 2 people in connector when you're on the force buy or the eco on the CT side, because if someone's foolish enough to go through there, at least without a high-low plan, which we've seen can be successful for the T side, and they will be in trouble. Well, Liaz delivering one with the Scout. Instantly traded, though, from the long push. Cast doing more damage himself. Now it's Wizard alone with a P250 coming in from the back. Not sure if there are any weapons to collect in this area. But there may be heads. Might be looking for some weapons.
Potentially good off angles here for Wizard to play around with. He could. The thing with Wizards here in this position is that he can definitely get a kill because of the element of surprise. There is the frag, and now stealing away the weapon is the prerogative here. He's done the damage. I think holding onto the weapon and the Kevlar with the helmet is really big. He might get another kill here as well. Oh, not quite. That would have been really important to get not only the damage, but to secure the AK into this round, because the AK in this round would potentially be worth at least another kill, and that really adds up. As you can see, that MVP don't really have any money, and Athletico have to save again. So they need to find a way to do some damage in this round. Unfortunately for them, the AK will not be that way as it's gone. Infrequent will be AWPing next round though. And I'm very curious to see how that's going to pay off actually. Infrequent in some respects reminds me a little bit of Henny from Immortals, just in how quick he is with the AWP. So in that sense, I kind of want someone to be his Phelps, playing the A long area with him. But we'll see how that comes to the picture.
Yeah, one can expect this to be a slow round, or at least the first half of it, as MVP will not want to put themselves in unfavorable positions. Rinder spots a player. Got to be careful hunting that situation when you see one player, because it can be a bait such as that. And again, moving through connector when your opponent's on an eco, simply not a good idea on this map. And Sonic's alone, but if he finds HSK or Sign, then damage is to be done. Spots it's Rinder he spots actually. And the damage he did to Rinder would almost been enough to have killed Sign, but there we go. Now we're on to the buy, now we're into the big business, the main chunk of this match. Infrequent, of course, on the AWP, and so will HSK be on the AWP.
I feel like if there's another player other than Sign for MVP, that might have been a death there, which would have been very interesting to see how that would have gone.
This is way too slow. Sorry to interrupt you. It's taken far too long to do that.
obviously it's there to like prevent rushes, right? So he should be a bit more rushed in his deployments. But Athletico got their aggression on the A-long area, and indeed, Infrequent is the man to do that. And his Phelps, oh my god. That's kind of unreal, isn't it? Kind of unreal, this guy. I was going to say his assistants, his Phelps is Leo's in this situation.
Like, he's, from what we've seen today, with awkward shots like that, he's very consistent.
He's very consistent.
And that is a dangerous skill to have. Very dangerous.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the reasons why, you know, JW became quite famous, because JW inherently puts himself in those positions, which are very strange, but always finds great comfort in AWPing with his back against the wall.
Yeah, he thrives in them down like a cockroach. JW is a cockroach. So far, so good for Athletico. No one's been touched in this round. They have 5 versus 2, and they haven't taken a single pixel of damage. I mean, could this be the cleanest of clean sheets? Could this be a perfectly clean sheet? Nope, not on this occasion. Wizard will get legged by HSK. But that's about it. A lovely hold from Athletico.
Yeah, just the leg and not the kill, and that's a really big deal. MVP going to be crippled on the monies, and I'm actually getting kind of excited to see more of this guy, basically just AWPing people. This shot just bosh, and his teammate. There's like that's kind of reminiscent of. There's just like so many obstacles there for him to deal with.
Look, he's got a shiny knife, Dan. He must be good.
Yeah, I guess, well, he seems to be pretty decent so far. And well, we got a quick push coming in from MVP with the pistols. Don't expect too much from this. Wizard has got a great angle actually. Is there a flash? There's a smoke, but no flash for MVP. So Wizard, here they come, one after the other. 4 quick kills for him with the slight helping hand of Overpass in there for 1. And the eco is cleaned up, just like that.
Everyone's dead, Dan. Everyone's dead. And we've got a Deagle buy coming out from MVP. We've got a Butcher buy. So they're looking for a very big buy indeed in the following round. That is quite curious. Maybe, well, definitely 1 AWP. And maybe something crazy, I don't know. There's a fair amount of money there. But there's a fair amount of money in the hole for Athletico. And they're going very aggressive. And that'll be an instant trade. That rings a bell. We saw that on the previous match. A charge against the ecoing players. 3 versus 3. There are weapons on the floor. And that's not good for Athletico.
I was about to say, even though that's the case, there's no Kevlar on these players, so they're highly disadvantaged in any engagement, but they have brought it down to a 1 versus 2. HSK looking to get himself in there. Athletico, you really need to be able to save the AWP there. When they, or hopefully for them, when they win the round, they need to be able to find a way to save the AWP that was dropped, but probably not super likely. Have to see as HSK moves in for the engagements to reclaim the bomb. There it is. The lack of Kev or the aim punch proves problematic as Sonic finds him with a couple bullets. And that's the 3-3 scoreline now. Very costly round, although the money generally for Athletico is quite good. They did have some flawless rounds in the past. I think a couple of them, actually. So that's the reason why they still have decent money here. So that was a very important round from the perspective of MVP generally not getting kills. So that helps. And I'm just excited again to see infrequent AWPing James. So just again, just taking these aggressive AWPing angles. Is he going down to connector? I think that might be him. Down to connector. Yeah, it is. Down the stairs. And I like that we're seeing him all over the place as well.
Yeah. This is the kind of change in style that Skadoodle needs to keep up with the top level of competitive CS, in my opinion. Oh, man. Sign taking it in the jaw. And surely Wizard would have heard the bell ring there. I mean, I didn't hear it on our clients, but it should make a noise because he's got a helmet. But either way, 3 versus 3. Athletico, perhaps with a read towards B, will rotate infrequent in that position. And indeed, That is where most of the players are headed. However, if Rinder's on long at the moment, I'm not sure if he's going to continue on his path or move towards toilets to cut off any rotation. But if he continues towards long and gets the pick, then maybe there's a rotation here. But maybe there's not enough time for that. MVP, 45 seconds on the clock, moving towards the short position now. Nice flash. That's a good flash, by the way, to play, to execute if you are rotating into the short B position. Speaking of rotations, Athletico are abandoning ship.
Yeah, what read do they have that forces everyone to just rotate towards A? Of course, you can play retake B very effectively, but I don't think they needed to do that. Either way, we're going to have the push coming in. Nice counter grenades from the CTs. That's going to make life impossible for MVP as they try to bust their way onto the bomb site. They have managed to finally find their way there, but they need to make the kills here. Sound's starting things off well. There's a quick pick. The smoke down for cover, and frags are being made all over the place. Just Sound left now. But at least that bomb is ticking away. But it looks like that's going to be all Sound has to say in this round. And Athletico will actually pick it up. And one thing I like is that generally Athletico were very passive here. They forced MVP into a position where they had to go for a set piece, and they didn't overextend. And I like that approach early on into a map like this.
Tactical pause has come in from the MVP side. Nice early pauses. This is a map they will be confident on, a map they feel they should win, just as Athletico thought they should win the previous one. And it would be surprising if we saw a stronger performance from Athletico on this map, all things considered. But that may be what might potentially happen here. And again, that's going to depend. I would say it depends on Infrequent. Wizard's up to 11 kills at the moment. But that said, he did get that 4-man anti-eco spray down. So indeed, we have seen a number of early leads in the scoreboard due to anti-eco frags. So bear them in mind.
Yeah, I mean, of course, as well, if Athletico were to win this, they take the series 2-0, which would be quite unexpected. I love this this Molotov, which just sort of goes over towards a short position to stop the CTs from taking sewers away very quickly. And as that's happening, we get a fast push here. Ooh, look at that catch from Sound. That is very decisive and very problematic. Infrequent is going to have to fall back here. He doesn't really have any support forwards. He doesn't want to get caught out there, as the T's can start to push him very easily. And if he's in a deeper position towards long, then maybe he can get a kill, but he's probably getting traded straight after that. So he needs to get more money out of this than just one kill.
Wizards on a huge flank through T-spawn. Argency having a look through connector. It would have been really interesting if MVP had made their way back towards B, but with no presence over there, that's unlikely. And Athletico are putting all their chips in the A basket. Wizards may want to speed up with these grenades being deployed. That said, Sign is still looking in connector, and if he starts running, he'll be heard. Sonic will get traded on the site, and indeed, Sign may have heard Wizard on the flank, and he'll go down as well. 4 versus 2, there goes Infrequent, and that's down to Urkas, the stand-in from Mongolia, to try and hold against 3 players, trying to move, trying to reposition, but he can't do it. Stuck behind Optimus Prime, and the score will be tied up. Athletico are by no means short of money, though, to come in for a rebuy. And there's a reasonable chance they'll have a better buy than MVP, because they'll be short on grenades, potentially. Nope, they've managed to move the money around enough so everyone gets the AKs, along with HSK's AWP. So, big round for both sides. Money is tired for both teams, so there will be advantages to the winner should they survive in numbers, which is also something to consider. So, many players towards B. No one in connector on this occasion. Infrequent's taken a ton of damage, though, over towards B. So I can only assume he took a bit of wallbanging through the door, but the kill he will deliver once again.
Yeah, in a new position. So many times just seeing Infrequent in a new position, which is really, really cool. It does take some damage for his troubles, but oh, wow. That is a problem here. Rinder easily knows that there's a second player there. Goes for the frag into Sonic after getting the booster. Or the boosty, rather. Looking for the booster as well. However, Sonic locks his position down. However, the rotation needs to come in. Will be Infrequent with the AWP, I believe. And he's not very healthy, and he's just going to go for the peaks there. He needs to be able to look towards long.
Look at the bomb, though.
Wow.
With only 3 players for MVP, one of them is going to have to give up map control and rotate all the way back to collect the bomb, which is never ideal for the T side, who are low on the numbers. It's going to waste a lot of time as well, because the rest of the team will likely just have to stand and wait. And you can see Sound is all the way towards long on his own, trying to get an opening onto the A site. This is super awkward. He can be double peaked. Oh, Infrequent's going to take a lot of damage. The Molotov coming out for Sound, but it'll be HSK to pick him off. So openings made by MVP.
Yeah, and Infrequent not hitting some of the shots he needed to hit there. And that's the bomb down in the most precarious of positions to deal with. It's so tough to retake the A bomb site on this map. Comparable, in comparison to the B bomb site, it's just a completely different world. It's very similar to Train, actually. Train's A bomb site is impossible to retake as a CTs, but the B bomb site is very retakeable as long as you can hold connector. But yeah, Athletico going to concede this one. They'll hold their hands up and say, you guys have got this. We're going to hold on to our rifles, bring them into the next round, hopefully, and see what we can do there. But MVP is starting to take control back of the map. But Infrequent, whenever he has the AWP, even if he's not getting some of these, these shots where you just have to sit and hold angles on the bomb sites, he's able to make those aggressive plays early into the round, as we saw him do moving to the sewers. So he's always going to be a bit of an issue to deal with. He could always create the comeback factor there for Athletico. But this round, they haven't really got much to show for themselves, besides the 2 rifles they saved. And there's a lot of interesting options to go with here, because as we can see, the 3 players who were not able to save, who died in the last round for Athletico, they did not purchase anything here. So, ooh,
goodbye.
Alrighty, the damage is being done straight away. Oh, that's so disappointing for Athletico. They really need a couple kills in this round. They really badly need a couple kills in this round. I don't think that's going to happen. It's not after that.
Yeah, that's a great start for MVP, shutting down one of the 2 rifles saved from the previous round. And the remainder of Athletico are isolated in different areas. P250s rather than 5.7s. Liaz is still close enough for the 1-tap, but they are considerably weaker than their bigger brothers. MVP just biding their time, waiting, preying on the desperation of the remaining Athletico players. Overpass starting to move somewhat around the toilets area, but apart from that, it's all waiting. Nice 1-tap there. Instant trade from HSK. Great delivery by him. Had another play for support as well. Bomb spotted from the CTs. Argency gets taken down towards connector. Again, a minefield on an anti-eco. Gives up an AK as well. That's definitely something MVP needs to learn. Just stay away from that area.
And there's a chance
or at least
here.
hold angles at the back.
There's a real chance here. I mean, we got Overpass, who's got the Kevlar and the M4. He's in position. If he gets the kills on these 2 players oncoming, oh, okay, he gets immediately dropped there. So maybe that chance has gone. Maybe it's disappeared with the win, James.
Into the ether. The opportunity goes. Sonic, though, has got a chance for 1 versus 1. Flash, is he spotted? Oh, these we've seen so many grenades whipped out in very awkward situations, which worries me. But Sign comes in from the back to finish off that round. Athletico back on the bye. That was very satisfying indeed. Not only to watch, but I'm sure as HSK will enjoy that one. We have a tactical pause coming in from Athletico in this situation. Having a discussion on perhaps how to distribute the money and what exactly to do with it. Infrequent has a very forward spawn, actually. So he could go for a pick towards the fountain area, which has its own level of variance, depending on the spawns of his opponents as well. And we see HSK as one of the more forward spawns, at least of the group in this particular round. So we'll see where he is headed. So yeah, I would expect Infrequent to go for a fountain peak or to go back into connector again.
He should definitely do that peak. Anytime he's got a spawn, I feel like this is like a player that should just like always be taking it, because he's just so fast.
Yeah, so he's gone for a more passive angle, so he's less exposed in case there are multiple players there. Smart stuff. Spots the player go past, but he doesn't make a connection on that occasion. So we'll see what the rest of both teams are up to. 2 men double peak from MVP, actually. So if there was an aggressive long play from Athletico, it would probably get blown up, but there isn't. HSK and Argency towards connector. And Sign is moving away from the B-bomb site, so oh no, he's going back now. So maybe we'll see some short B possession from the T's. That's not a good grenade, Dan.
No.
That's a bad miss.
No, generally not having fun times on the B-bomb site there. Also, Wizard jumping up on the booster spot. He's so good at these shots. Oh dear. I mean, those shots are pretty hard to hit. For some reason on A-Long, it's just I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe the uneven ground, or I don't know. But it's not the easy. They are not the easiest shots to connect. That's for sure. But Frequent's going to pick one off. And this actually forces MVP, because of the positioning, to just commit and shove all in onto the B bomb site, where HSK is going to get himself a very fancy opening onto Wizard, who was already very low. Oh my goodness, the wallbang attempts coming in from HSK as well. Very scary stuff here. And bomb still needs to be planted. There's 25 seconds to do so. You would expect Sound who would actually be able to get that down now at this point. But they're still looking for their way back in. I don't think there is one, though. Not with HSK just going off like this. He seems renewed. He seems to be powered up.
Frequent last man standing now. Has potential to hold the angle, get a pick and then back off, but he wants the right angle if he is to hold an angle. So he can get around the corner quickly in case there's a trade fragger. No hunts, though, will come in his direction. MVP extending the lead to 7 over the 4 of Athletico. So rocky start with 4 rounds in a row for their opponent, but then MVP are back to winning ways, and perhaps all is well and normal. This is the pick of MVP in this best of 3. Oh, a rare shot missed by Infrequent, but he manages to survive, and again he's got a very forward spawn. Maybe even more forward than the previous one.
Yeah, he's got to go for it as well. He just always should be going for it, I think. Especially when you're up against a team which you feel like probably has you beat most of the time on this map. You need to go for the riskier stuff, and getting a player of yours that has the highest impact in those situations, in those spots, that's always just going to be good. And we can see how his team plays around it here. Everybody's kind of supporting him. Unlucky for them that MVP go for the fast monster push, which is one of the more common anti-eco rounds, anti-force by rounds. And well, we got death from above, James.
Death from above, indeed. Liaz just picks up an AK, gets a nice kill onto Rinda. Man advantage for Athletico. If they play their cards right, there could be some potential here. Sonic is holding an angle from the early barrels from T-Spawn, now heading towards the monster area, while Athletico are going for the rotation. Maybe reading that MVP are going for the rotation, or maybe they heard them going for the rotation. HSK is trailing behind while Argency leads the charge. And indeed, this is a very slow rotation from MVP. And the more time they take, the worse the situation may become for them. Especially now as they're split up. I'm not sure if the actual plant attempt even came in that time. No. Well, there we go, the bomb down. And that's Liaz gone immediately.
Yeah, kind of just ran into the open there. I don't think he knew exactly where Argency was as well, so risky stuff, to be honest. And now his teammates are just having a play. I don't have the ability to play with anyone. Everyone's playing alone, so Infrequent's once again in a similar spot where he just has to back away with the AWP and wait out the detonation of the bomb. And Athletico really struggling now to come back into this one. Although this was not a round where they had a full buy. They had a half buy. Pistol Kevlar. They must have, how many rounds have they lost in a row now? It feels like it must be 5.
They have lost 5 rounds in a row.
So yeah, max loss bonus for them of a great many dollars. $3,400 for them, for each player.
So again, Infrequent's got a reasonable spawn. Not a great one. Potentially a peek into connector. He's chosen to run around his teammate, but somehow another one's got in front of him. That's got to be annoying. So let's see what he opts to do on this occasion. Both teams have good utility. Going to go for the forward play once again. Still got time. Flashed off the position though. Nice play by MVP. HSK is going to be the lone soldier outside the B bomb site. We have not seen fast plays towards short B from the T side or the CT side really. Not willing to have the variance. Should the other team try to push it at the same time, perhaps? So MVP will start their journey towards both sites to identify what is safe and what is not. Got Liaz over towards the toilets area, playing against the shadows. In this position, the shadow will give the position away. He could actually hold a slightly more forward position and make more use of those shadows, although he would be less susceptible to being pre-fired here. Also, if the players go on the inside and his team run distraction on the site, he's in a good position to just pop out and take people down.
MVP are getting very close now as well to his position. Oh, that's incendiary. Is it too deep? It might be a little bit too deep, but he gets the quick frag. Traded immediately by Sound there. The covering fire not available just yet. Sonic comes in though to deal with the player pushing up A long, which was Arinda. So Athletico looking fairly good despite going down 3-3. Sonic's in this position on A long, and the bomb cannot be planted. Sound is going to feel the full effect of Sonic's great position towards A long. Wizard goes down towards Bank, but still Sonic is a big position. If they want to plant the bomb, they've got to kill Sonic. Great flash comes in, and into the crossfire they go. And MVP all fall.
Almost retrieving the AWP, but infrequent left will have to buy it once more. So Athletico have some potential to get a reasonable score on the round on their CT half. 5 rounds at the moment to the 8 of MVP. MVP back on the buy though, back on the full buy, so great potential for them to take it to a 10-5. And if they win this round, they'll reset the economy. So if MVP make it 9-5, they're very likely to make it 10-5.
Is it too slow again, James?
It's kind of slow, yeah. It's kind of slow.
You disappointed?
Oh, I'm indifferent. It's done the job. No fast plays from MVP coming in. They will take their time. And now we see Wizard peeking over towards short B. Infrequent again, taking early damage. But I like the short B presence from Wizard. He's not fully committed. I think he might be playing around a smoke trick now, as we saw at E-League. We saw somebody doing that as well. Oh no, he's not playing around a smoke trick, but we definitely saw some smoke gimmick shenanigans around short B CTs at E-League. 2 plays in connector. Sign and Argency. Down goes the latter. And there goes the former. Very nice hold from Wizard so far. Now he starts to push deeper into short B. So he gave himself space to retreat, but held his ground and held it well.
Now pretty much desperation play. Again, the shove into the A-bomb sites. And they just got to run in. Brute force has to be the answer. But there's just no substituting methodical play, as they are now just down to one man. HSK, he has an AWP, but the bomb is down. This spot seems pretty impossible for him here. And it's an important round to win fairly cleanly, as Athletico will. Because I'm not sure how much. Okay, they would have been fine probably to lose one extra player anyway. But yeah, last round in the first half. And they can still make a good scoreline of this. I mean, a 7-8 is definitely not too shabby. They can definitely fight back from that with the T side. But you do have to wonder what Athletico have to bring with their T sides, because they are a team where I'm not quite sure where to place them on either side. Moving into maps, it's hard to have expectations for Athletico, I feel. Ooh, are we going to get a fast round? Looks like we have a potential fast approach here from MVP, looking to get into that B-bomb site.
Argency has made his way in, but the distance might be too far for that kill on the high ground. His teammates, though, are coming in for a full clearance of the B-bomb site. Lovely stuff in the last round, looking for that 9-6 scoreline after all. That is a brutal entry into B, and it's going to be hard for Athletico to get anything done. Bomb's gone down 2 versus 5. This situation sucks for the CTs. Liaz and Sonic, last 2 men standing. Surely their sentence is a matter of time.
Yeah, how do you get in? There's just not enough people to distract, to draw fire, to fire back. And it will be 6-9 MVP in advantage. Athletico had a pretty good start, to say the least, but their momentum was crushed. And we had a spot, I think, where for a few rounds, Afrika was not able to hit some of the more important shots when just sitting on the A-bomb side. And that probably made a big difference, I think, towards the ability for MVP to just be able to get the plants down a little bit faster and close those rounds out. And MVP now in the driving seats. They just need to close down the pistol. we got the raid boss onto Infrequent, which is very nice to see. The Tech 9 and armor.
Ooh, look at the stack from MVP into the B bomb site. Rinder is rotating on the high ground, and now people are moving back towards A after not seeing any initial aggression from Athletico, and that might play into the favour of Athletico. That said, the bullets will play into their faces from the CT side. So far, so good for MVP. One man remaining. That's Wizard with the bomb, and he will remain no more. HSK with the last bullet in his magazine to get that pick. MVP onto double figures in a great spot now to storm towards the latter rounds of Overpass. Athletico realized the situation, coming straight in for the force buy.
Straight in for the force buy. And we've got the scouts. I think we saw some great stuff from them with these force buys in the past. The scouts are always good, especially in the hands of someone like Infrequent. You would expect him to be quite good with it, as he's quite good with the fast shots, the scoot and shoots. Nice position here from Sign by the stairs in connector. There are Tech 9s lurking though. Will they find him? Well, they'll be able to find Argency. That's an MP9 collected.
Oh,
ooh,
no.
Boom. So fast. So furious is Infrequent. This is going pretty well here for Athletico.
Yep, and they have armor on their players. Cass charging onto the site. And going to get taken down. Bomb's being collected now. But, oh, well, actually, Sound's got 7 HP. HSK on 70. There is a lot of opportunity. Liaz has picked up an M4. There's a lot of opportunity here for Athletico to break MVP. They've got 50 seconds left on the clock. Both players, though, very far from each other. Infrequent is assuming that perhaps the bomb's been spotted, which is why he's scoping from this position and checking every corner, just in case there is a CT lurking and using the bomb as bait. Teammate joining him now through connector. So Sound in a predictable position on the barrels is going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to need headshots and then some. Infrequent doesn't have any Kevlar, but he's coming in from the monster position. And if Liaz checks his positions properly, oh dear. Well, there we go. Instant trade comes in. HSK now is in the position to make a play from short B. Liaz has so many places to look. If he looks the wrong way at the wrong time, into the water, very smart stuff. HSK, though, he knows where he is. Liaz ready and willing. And MVP have been broken.
Yeah, big round there for Athletico. That actually gives them a chance, and a very unlikely chance, back into this one to have a showing, but it is a very long road. They have to show consistency. One thing we have seen from them is some decent anti-eco, so maybe they can get something rolling in on this one. Very nice there from Infrequent. Closing frag there from Lias. So UMP's AK-47, M4A4, no Kevlar, no nades, nothing really here for MVP. So it should be a pretty easy round for Athletico. Again, there's the two classic rounds you can run. You can either just run through the monster tunnel with pretty much everybody, or you can push pretty much everybody up A-long. Those are the two kind of money, like highly optimal anti-eco rounds you can play out here. But we have more of a default actually from Athletico, where you have players who are isolated, which often isn't the way to go. A team with pistols often prey upon the isolated riflers, but this time so far it's going to be a good look here for Athletico, but they're going to bring themselves towards positioning here onto Suez as well, so setting up that B play.
Yeah, so we've got double peak coming in. That's going to pay off, but the split is going to be good onto this site. 3 players left. That CZ is still alive on Argency. That very dangerous CZ in the water. I'm not sure if they spotted it. There it is. There it goes. The other 2 CTs on the flank. Liaz is heavily tagged. Infrequent. Can he get into position in time? He can. And that's HSK with 7 HP and a UMP. Not much going on in his life at the moment, and his life is now gone itself. 8-10. Athletico close the gap. It's going to be another eco here from MVP before they get going. They had some discipline, didn't buy much in the previous rounds. Just waiting for the buys and using the lead, conceding some of it to wait for that big buy to come in. Argency back on the CZ.
Athletico did lose a lot of players there, to be honest. Like, too much, I think. So that's going to bode well for MVP if they can capitalize upon it in the near future in the next buy rounds. And again, this is a Molotov that I really, really enjoy. I think it's so valuable to deny the CT's fast control of sewers. You can see Lears is straight in there. And this is very painful here for the CTs because they don't get the information that they need. And again, death from above Jakes.
Infrequent again, actually. It's not the first team kill today that he's got. Rinder and HSK with the pistols versus 3. These guns are likely irretrievable for them. Nice tapping there to finish off Rinder. And there it goes. The threats have been eliminated. Although infrequent, you have to wonder if he's a Trojan horse. Has a habit of killing his teammates. Although they're still in good spirits. Just one round behind MVP now, who will be back on the buy. HSK back on the AWP. And Athletico for this round will be on 5 AKs. Or rifles, rather. 1 M4.
Can they circumvent the HSK AWP? Because HSK has been, again, a little bit more fired up in an Overpass so far. He's had some great op rounds. Again, we're going to see that Molotov there to deny sewers control from the CTs and allow Wizard, I think he was the first man there, to actually make his way into the sewers for the Athletico side. And one thing from this position as well, because there is connector control from Athletico, is they can actually build this into a sewers push as well. A toilets push as well. But I was going to say, you want to try to circumvent this guy. HSK is going to find you. Brings his AWP towards the sewers, takes a life, and now that's going to force actually Athletico to go in. And so far, at 1 entry found, but this is not looking good for them.
Argency trying to escape through the smoke, unable to do so. Infrequent pushing in for the frag now, and another one from him, leaving Sign alone. But he has a lot of potential here. Look at the damage done to the final Athletico players. The bomb has not been planted yet either. And I like, this is really interesting. I think they might be suggesting a rotation towards A by going out of Monster and maybe coming back into B from short. This would be somewhat genius. And it seems that is exactly what they're doing. Sign has bought it hook, line, and sinker. It's making its way towards A now. Well, everything's very quiet. He's going to be very confused once this bomb gets planted. But again, assuming if Athletico read that he's up towards A, let's have a look and see what post-plant situation they will have. And Sign still has no idea that it's actually the B-bomb site. Oh, God. They've sold me down the river. Back he goes.
He has a lot of time, though. It's a very fast rotation, so it's just going to have to be very quick to the shots. And luckily for him, both players are really weak. Oh, this is the problem. Infrequent so low. Oh, somehow he gets the kill there. 3 frags for Infrequent in this round. This was a very good round from Infrequent. In fact, it's a round that really makes up for some of his defenses that didn't go super well on the A-bomb side, on the CT side. And 10-10 is a scoreline. And I really don't know how long Athletico will keep up the winning ways. I feel like they're very, very hard to predict, actually. And, MVP, they're going to be losing the lead very likely because I think they're down to an eco here and just a few pistols, no Kevlar, a couple flashbangs. I like that we have 2 flashbangs. And an HE. That's a really weird pickup. And now it's been used. And there's limited damage.
Has been deployed. Athletico with a solid anti-eco setup here. HSK was pushing towards short B and Urkas was waiting for it. HSK will back off. He's not going to commit in a 1 versus 1 situation. Wow. There may be better ways to use these pistols. So far so good though for Athletico, clearing out long A. No more players towards A whatsoever actually. So 2 players remaining for the CTs and they're going to split up. There goes HSK. So it's Sound versus 5. This is an eco round, but Athletico will going to be taking the lead unless something catastrophic happens. There we go. Nobody lost either, which is great for them. This is not a good spot for MVP. They're calling a tactical pause. And, Infrequent's got $10,000 in the bank. Almost nobody has less than $5,000 on Athletico. So it's another situation where MVP need to win against 2 full buys just to have relative success and drain the money of their opponent.
And again, a point that was made previously is that Infrequent, of course, is a dedicated AWPer, but we've seen that he can rifle as well. And it's really helping them out massively on the T side, because the T side is definitely, you can have these spots where some teams who have an AWPer where it's very clear that his impact is so much better with the AWP. You kind of want to tailor rounds a little bit more towards that guy when you have money. And then that kind of changes how the whole team dynamic kind of works, because you have to play the slower pace, generally speaking. You don't want to rush in. You want to give that AWPer a chance to actually use the AWP and so on. But I'll hold that thought for now. We have a very fast push through the monster coming in from Athletico, keeping the pace high. And this is exactly how they would want to do it. Shock and awe here to break the buy of MVP. So far, so good with the first entry. A second to be found as well.
Liaz holding a very passive angle towards the squeaky door, but he hears a rotation through T-Spawn. He can raise the alarm to his teammates that one player is coming from that direction. And indeed, they are abandoning the site. Wizard's gone to engage, but he's been taken down by Sign. Done great damage though, but Sign is still causing problems in that area. We've got the position from Connector moved through into short B now. So it's about the other two players for MVP. Urcast is waiting for them in the water, and it seems that it's abandoned ship from MVP. They're starting to back off. They're out of position. I think this is a smart decision from them. But again, with 4 players alive for Athletico, they're just building cash, more cash and more cash, taking weapons away now as well. There goes the AWP. Maybe Sign will be able to save it, or his teammate. Urcast is not going to get there in time. But yeah, I mean, that's fantastic for Athletico. They play that fast round from out of nowhere. That does big damage to MVP, and they're just rolling in the money. So Athletico, quite surprisingly, are in a very dangerous spot to 2-0 MVP now.
Again, though, I do wonder about the longevity for Athletico in their T side, because how much of it's just winning the right rounds at the right time. We have this we're just going to throw this aggression in here and in there. It looks like they're going to do the same thing, and if they keep it simple like this in the right rounds, like this one where they're going to actually break MVP's economy again, then that actually has a lot of mileage. Their defaults have not been impressive, and this time the entry frags were not impressive. It's MVP holding things down. Infrequent only good for a single kill. 2 men left alive for the Athletico side, and they haven't got anything going for them. Just Lias now, and MVP showing that they can hold these pushes, and not enough damage has been done here by Athletico.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. Despite all the money they have in the bank, MVP are only 2 rounds behind them. Likely to be 1, unless Liaz goes nuclear here. He has been playing very well. There's a low health player going for the peaks, but he doesn't need to peek anymore. Flashbang comes in. Oh, but he can't punish, running out of bullets. But nobody will capitalize. 2 players heavily tagged now. He's going for the wide peak, and that will expose him to multiple opponents. 3 players surviving for MVP as they take Liaz down. And indeed, they are 1 round behind. But look at the pressure coming in from the T side. This is getting really interesting in map 2 of this best of 3.
It's hard to really, again, predict the approach here for Athletico. Are we going to see a default now? Because the default tends to look like, okay, we get that Molotov into the sewers, we take over sewers, we take over the connector area, and we haven't seen much play towards A-Long and towards the toilets, actually, which is uncharacteristic of an Overpass team. They want to go, I think, for Monster again. It kind of feels like... Oh, the push from sewers is huge. Sign with 2 there. There are more players to find. He's got the bomb. So even if the B bomb site is taken over by the T's, they have to go back and get the bomb from Sign, which is a situation now. This is beyond awkward.
Sign's pressed the big red button and he's gone hyper aggressive, but indeed, it's down to 2 versus 2 now. Liaz has come straight back, as has Urcast, causing more problems. But there it is, the cleanup from the final 2 MVP players, but only 2 players survive. Let's see how much money the CT side has.
against MVP. And then they are through with a 2-0. It is nice. Sonic just is hiding in the corner there. Finds the head of HSK, a very important player to take down. The dedicated All-Pro MVP sent to the bench for this round.
MVP are holding passively with their other 4 players. So we're not going to see any shenanigans from Sign for the time being. But Athletico, you have to, I mean, with 40 seconds on the clock, they can't wait too late because it's, you know, often the Bedlam and Anarchy can favor the T's, but on the B bomb site, when you're trying to get the bomb down, it may not be so favorable. So they will execute their grenades into the B bomb site. 2 CTs waiting, and the counter grenades coming straight back. The bomb needs to get planted. 20 seconds now. Argency goes down. Cass pushing through will get another frag. Successful round so far from Athletico when they need it. 5 versus 2. And the T's need to hold on to most of their weapons. Well, it would certainly help for the coming rounds in this situation.
Yeah, this is a really, really important round for Athletico to win. I really can't state that enough because they basically ran out of money. Okay, they were accumulating a loss bonus and the bomb was planted and everything, but they were running out of money, and the implications of winning this round, especially if they can, as you say, kill these 2 players, get rid of these guns. There is nothing really going on for MVP in the near future, and that's one of the guns down. They know where Sign is, but they can't take him down. We've got to see how the buy develops here for MVP. As you can see, it's just they could actually force it up. It would be very awkward, and they don't need to do it.
I don't know that they would. That'd be a mess.
Yeah, it would be a damn mess. But they could get some Famises on the board, James. We all love Famises. The French gun. But Athletico, they're going to get a chance here to build some bank again, as the buy here for MVP is non-existent. Just a few flashbangs. What Sign saved in a couple of PT50, well, PT50 in their 5-7. So not all that much, and they're going to stack onto the B-bomb site. And I think that's a really good shout, actually, because just generally, Athletico tend to gravitate towards B. So we have a passive opening, an aggression from MVP to get some information. And as the time passes, I think we should expect, hopefully, to see Athletico go towards A long with all of their rifles and the AWP. You don't need to have players isolated. There's not much you can gain from doing that, generally speaking. Especially if everyone's carrying a rifle and there's no MAC-10s.
If Overpass chooses to push further towards B, then Sound's position may pay off for him. He's got really advanced in a very awkward angle to deal with. But indeed, long is the approach for the time being, and Frequent is holding the long angle. Now he can start to catch up as his teammates pass that area. The bomb leading the charge towards long. If the bomb gets peaked, then there's going to be a big rotation from MVP. 2 players around the toilet area, and indeed Sonic is far ahead of his teammates at the moment. Slowly, we have the T side moving in towards A. But no one's checked the toilets area, and off angles. Oh no, you can't do that. No one's checked toilets whatsoever, and he's putting the bomb out. That is not a smart idea. Bad angles being held, and Sign will take the bomb planter down, and this is going to turn into a catastrophe, it seems.
Yeah, this is a complete mess. An absolute mess here from Athletico, but they can still salvage it. Bomb needs to go down. There's 7 seconds to do that, and there's some cover from Urkas. Bomb is planted in the nick of time. However, 5-7 comes into play. The weakened Lias is out of the picture. No Kevlar for Sound, but the plant, I think, is that a bad plant? I think it's okay, it's an open plant, so that is something. It's not still not the perfect plant, but with no Kevlar, even though he's got the kit, Sound should not be able to do this. Is he holding it? He's actually holding it. Oh my god, James, what a disaster this round was for Athletico. They should have had this in the bag. Just play classic anti-eco play. We have got players running alone. We've got people getting split up. We've got people just allowing. I don't even.
That was an awful round.
That was terrible.
That was an awful round.
It should never happen.
Leading ahead with the bomb. If somebody jump peeks long from behind the APC, and you're visible, then the entire team is rotating to the site, getting the bomb out when you've had nobody have any presence towards toilets whatsoever, and you haven't even checked it. Then having bad angles and being exposed to truck, which is also not checked. I mean, that's a catalogue of errors, and that's a pretty big catalogue, Dan. That's those ones you have to go into the store to take away because it's too expensive to post. It's a big catalogue of errors.
Yeah, definitely. That's one way to put it. Oh, dear. Okay, well, either way, they need to gather themselves.
What if they lose the map because of
I
that?
don't think about it. So they're gathering themselves, James. You must collect yourself as well. Okay, so at the moment we're seeing Athletico going back to what they know, which is early sewers control. This is basically what their default tends to be. Sonic has been the guy who's been trying to get edges towards this area on the map. And previously he was able to find one actually when he caught the players boosting over from B to get information. And look how completely passive MVP are. They are essentially goading Athletico to just go for a set piece into the B bomb sites. That is what they want. They do not want to allow them to have picks first. They will concede map control. But that is because they want to force this situation. And that's not good. That's not good for MVP.
HSK, the only one to hold things down now, well, in a position to at the moment, but rotation time is being bought. The bomb hasn't gone down just yet. Wizards coming in from the flank, as you can see there in the smaller window. That's going to be huge, especially with that smoke slowing people down. 19 seconds there. The bomb needs to get planted. MVP moving into position, and Wizards is there with his tricks. HSK misses the shot. He's missed crucial shots. And the bomb... Has the bomb gone down? Is the bomb... What's going on? What is going on? How is this happening? Why are they throwing rounds away? Why are they throwing rounds away?
I don't even know what happened there. That is a complete breakdown of communication.
How
Surely
can you... This is... Oh my god, Dan, they've shit the bed.
Oh dear, that's pretty awful. That's just a breakdown of communication, surely, because
Just plant the bomb. Oh man, what? I do not understand.
that's 2 rounds.
I mean, I feel
away,
like I feel like maybe they were waiting because Wizard was on the flank, and they're like, oh, actually, maybe we should plant the bomb now. And, oh my god. They could lose the they could lose the map because of that round, and the previous round.
I was gonna say.
Oh dear.
Well, it's always round 28, which is where we are now. So again, similar opening here from Athletico. The sewers control. This time they don't have much presence towards toilets, and they are somewhat relying on Infrequent, who has no Kevlar. He's running in naked with the AWP at the moment. And Athletico, I mean, if they are to push B, they're up against pretty much a stack there. It's not directly a stack, but there's a very fast rotation from Cyan, and also fast rotation from the player on A. Lias, though, just basically, well, that was pretty decisive. Very nice engagement there. Obviously down to 8 HP, and some players here, other players from MVP are very low on health. So this is another spot where Athletico have a really big advantage. 40 seconds, they start to move in towards the A bomb site. Forward smoke, HSK with not much to work with. Shadow, though, well, that'll be more than enough to take one frag. A second one from the truck position. This is big here for MVP.
At least the bomb's gone down this time. Sonic still has just the Tech 9 down to 1 HP as well. And there he goes, isolated on the site. And it seems that Athletico are going to struggle to protect this bomb. They've got 3 more players to find, but they are all tagged ECTs. Nice shot by Liaz. He is really delivering at the moment. Oh, he's going to get wrecked. And so is his teammate. And that is game point for MVP. You have to wonder, if this goes to a third map, are Athletico going to be tilted into Planet Zog? Into another dimension?
I don't know, man.
Who's that guy from? Who's the bad guy from He-Man again?
Skeletor.
Skeletor's going to be in that other dimension. Like, how could you not close that match? even Skeletor's going to be cussing them out now.
All right. Well, I mean, there's still a chance for Athletico to bring this back to overtime. Obviously, Tech 9, UMP, lack of grenades, that has Rush written all over it, but they actually are spreading out a little bit. And speaking of rushes, it's MVP that are playing aggressive, and this actually could be a way in for Athletico, to be honest, if they overstep, if they overextend. But they actually retract. They fall back after the initial aggression, and that initial aggression is actually very good as well, because it allows you to have essentially, forward position on the map, so you get some sound cues. If, let's say, Athletico were rushing, then they'd have a very fast rotation into the B-bomb site. So it's actually a very nice early timed aggression from MVP. now they settle back into their default positions. Very default positions here from MVP. And here comes the slow push from Athletico up Monster. This time Wizard goes down. And this is a bit of a disaster again. 2 versus 4 now for Athletico. And the bomb is in control of the CTs.
This is, well, let's see what Infrequent can do. He doesn't have the bomb. He has just shy of a minute, though. Sign is running distraction. And it's all fallen apart. That is, I don't even know. That's like putting your head in the toilet and filling it with bleach.
Yeah, that was definitely a very, very tough match there for Athletico, of course, at the end. I think just a lot of miscommunication going on. And that definitely caused them to lose the map. So they're going to have a good pep talk, just refresh themselves a little bit, compose themselves for the third map. Forget about map 1, forget about map 2. Because that was so frustrating. And MVP have got to be feeling good because they're going to realize as well that something was not right with how Athletico were playing right there at the end of that map. Because Athletico, they had that. They had Overpass.
Yeah, there's opportunity for psychological warfare here now for the MVP side. I mean, if they are able to pressure their opponent early in map 3 and just play with a flare of arrogance, that could just mentally crush their opponent after they just threw not 1 but 2 rounds away, just down the toilet, Dan.
Yeah,
it's mad.
Well, of course, we've got the guys back on the desk. How do you guys feel about that? Oh, my mic's gone again. Oh, it's back.
How do you guys feel about that? I think was the question.
Well, we happen to be sitting here during that end, and you were losing your mind, obviously, for all the right reasons. I mean, round 26 and round 27. Are you kidding me?
It's
right?
like, like getting all your valuables and putting them in the microwave.
Yeah. And again, we were talking about in the green room, like, this team has a hard time closing out. And I think I jinxed him when I said that. And then we walked out and watched that happen. Like, thank you, gentlemen. I don't
think that's a problem of closing out. I think that's just like having a problem with just breaking down, like, fun. I don't even know. Like, that's just not even like having an issue of closing out. At that point, you're just having an issue not gift wrapping stuff for your opponent.
I don't know what to say, man. I'm literally speechless with those 2 rounds.
Like we saw it on Dust 2 in the first game they played versus NXL. We had that weird scenario on the B-bomb side in the 2v2 situation, and we thought to ourselves, like, yeah, that, you know, it's a weird situation and it might happen, you know, once or twice. They've had this, like, I want to see 4 or 5 times today. That's not supposed to happen.
And also coming through, like, they were down after the first half. They decided they were barely in it, right? And then losing the pistol round. By the way, MVP now 7 out of 8 pistol rounds in the tournament.
Yeah, exactly.
Losing the pistol round in the second half as well. You think, okay, this is going to be cruise control for MVP.
Yeah.
And then Athletico goes for a 4th spy, they win it with a B execute. And then they just start grinding. They start grinding, and they get into. There was a lot of B grinding coming up. What they did, they managed to take the bombs that didn't hold off on the afterplans until that magical moment where it all went to crap.
Yeah, you know, it's a 2v1. The bomb gets planted. Turns out to be a 1v1. But he decides to, like, take this long route, which in a sense does make some sense to reset.
Yeah.
But took too long.
Yeah.
Way too long to get there.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of needed to just commit to a peak straight away. Yeah. If you go for that long route, you just kind of have to you're forcing yourself into making a peak to know if he's on the bomb or not.
Yep.
He did not take it. It was planted in an angle where he had to take a really wide peak to actually see the bomb, and he backfired. And then I'm not even sure how to explain the second one. There was a flank coming from A.
Clown car fiesta is what I want to call it.
MVP,
very accurate
MVP starts rotating back towards A. There's a kill. Wizard gets a kill, and the other guy survives, and then eventually there's a guy in the little pit on B bomb side. There's 2 guys on B. The bomb, one is planning, and then it all just falls apart.
He lights them all up.
The super weird thing for me in that situation is the fact that obviously Wizards coming in on a flank, but it seems like MVP at that point already have given up the entire round. So they have 2 people rotating off.
Yeah.
And Wizard even gets one of those frags, and that apparently doesn't change anything at all for like they've already given up on the round and they go down another man, but that still doesn't like initiate any sort of thought process on Athletico to be like, okay, we should probably win the round now.
Yeah.
Or like,
very, very strange couple rounds.
Yeah,
there.
but
And again, like James said, that cost him the match right there. There's two.
oh
games.
yeah,
There's no doubt about
100%.
But yeah, it's so weird. It's so weird. It's like there's polar opposites. There's rounds where they make plays. It looks great. Even City side, they had nice plays. For example, doubling up on long, taking wide peaks, and having a buddy system going on, pulp flashing for one another to make moves and stuff like that. And then you see these kind of things happen. You're like,
Yeah.
what am I watching?
Well, again,
This is like comedy hour?
yeah, well, we talked about this in their first matchup, the fact that, you know, for the better part of it, they look like the more fundamentally sound team compared
Looks
to
like
MVP,
Counter-Strike.
right? But they keep messing up for themselves at very, very crucial points. So maybe you have MVP looking like, you know, kind of running haphazardly around for a stretch of 5 rounds in a row. Then they get their stuff together for enough rounds to get a decent half. With Athletico, it's like you see tendencies the entire time, but then they just have these massive lapses and everything just crumbles under it. It's
Makes you want to cry.
yeah, like it's actually painful to watch.
Yeah,
because
definitely. Let's take a look at that scoreboard and bring you guys up to date. Let's move off this map. Get moving forward.
Tough.
We're all so triggered right now.
Counter-Strike is a tough game sometimes. HSK, by the way, had a pretty good map here going on. Picking up a lot of kills with the op. We saw the nice double he had towards the fountain when Athletico was trying to throw in some relentless aggressiveness towards there. So a great map for him.
When you mentioned this was this turned into a grind, and we talked about Liaz after the first map, the fact that it's not going to be the highlight frags he brings, but he's going to be consistent about it each and every time. And if the game turns into a grind, he's going to be extremely valuable to have, and kind of went to show in this case as well. Obviously, this should have been an Athletico win.
Yeah.
So you would have seen even more of the value he brings to the team. But
that's a painful loss.
it really is. But, you know, they just have to block this out as quickly as possible, reset, and get into, because they're going to have to play Mirage. And it's not like Mirage is a terrible map for them by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, and I was looking at that.
They've beaten Tyloo on it.
Well, and they're both they both have the exact same record with offline play, LAN play in the last 3 months. They're both 7-3, 70% win record. Obviously, different regions playing different people.
Yeah.
Well, the story is that
Tyloo thrashed Atletico 4-16 on this map, though.
They have also beaten them on the map, though. But that was before that, you know, like even before. I think that was the Starletter China finals.
Gotcha.
And I think the trashing they took was at IESF. So IESF being more recent, of course, that has more value to it. But it's kind of goes to show that Atletico, they're not clueless on this map, and that's kind of
no one should be.
Right? No, definitely not. It's like the second most puggable map after Dust 2, I'd say.
Well, and you had mentioned that you had talked to Ken, their manager, and like they're really confident about Mirage. They've kind of sat on it earlier because they didn't want to bring it out in those first best of ones. So maybe they got something up their sleeve.
Well, I'm going to be watching this with a lot of detail. Yeah, a super Hawkeye. They better be good at this.
Yeah. The curious thing, actually, when you think back to the veto, is the fact that if they were so confident in this map going into this, why wouldn't it be their map pick? Why would they chance it to the point where?
Well, they might have looked at the same thing.
Because apparently their map pool is so wide compared to their opponents, but Turnout Nuke definitely not in their is not their forte, and Overpass.
It did end up getting close.
Yeah.
Even though I would definitely agree with that.
They were supposed to lose Overpass too. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah. and it is Atletico's second best map too. So maybe they also thought, well, they're not going to ban it either.
Yeah.
So one way or another, we're playing.
Coming into this tournament, they beat Immunity in the qualifiers 16-11. Yeah, and they got 10 rounds on T side. So that's a positive sign.
All right. You still going to go?
I can't bail on MVP now at this point, especially with all the luck that Atletico just seems to be given their way. I kind of figured that's going to continue into the third.
I agree. I'm sticking with my guns.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. That's going to do it for us. When we come back from break, the boys from FACES are going to take over. One more map tonight. Winner moves on tomorrow. Loser's going to go home and have to watch the rest of the majors and minors from home. Be back after the break.